Hi, I'm Stuart Quan, and today we're going to show you acrobatic fighting techniques. First, we'll show you some warm-ups and basically how to get the body warmed up and how to start throwing some of these action sequences. When trying to think of a name for this tape, I was thinking about what martial arts taught me. Martial arts really taught me that to reach your outer limits, to do what you didn't think was possible. When I saw, whether it be a martial artist or gymnast, do that incredible feats like backflips, jump 360 back kicks and so forth, it's always intrigued me to see what's possible for the body. So a lot of people have things that they say, well, there's no way I can do a backflip, or there's no way I can do a back handspring. Well, in this tape, I'm going to show you how to warm up for it, how to basically get your body strong so it can do what you believe it can. A lot of people and so forth usually have the thought that the limitations in their mind become the limitations of their body. So going through a process, anything that you want to do, any goal that you want to achieve, going through a process, first having the sight of what you want, then finding a strategy to get there. Of course, you're not going to be throwing backflips right after this tape, but we're going to give you the keys and the ideas and the concepts of how to get there. Through concentration, action, and focus, and discipline, you can achieve those dreams, and you can reach your outer limits. A year ago or so, I had an Achilles tendon rip on me. So I really, believing in myself, I had to come back totally to training. I had to come back to stretching, had to come back to basic training, and so forth to get my body back into shape to do what it does today. Martial arts, again, is something that can constantly set your goals with and make yourself do the unbelievable. Backflips, jump spin, and hook kicks. Not just with the body, but with the mind. So coming through training and so forth, I had to get the legs back into shape. First thing I'm going to show you a couple of ankle stretches, which are very important for the calves and all your jumping abilities as we go. First stretch as we go is going to be, you're going to put your your foot at a 45 and drop the weight on the supporting leg with the right. This is stretching out the ankle and the calf muscle as we go here. Also strengthening the knee. So when we come up into this motion, we're going to come straighten the leg up and then drop it all the way down. You want to put all the weight on your supporting leg, so you feel it all in the thigh here. The leg straightens up and then down. About 15 or so, then we drop towards the leg and then straighten up. Not only are you getting the strength with the leg here and the flex in the ankle, but you're also stretching out the hamstring here. When you're stretching forward, try to keep your chest to your leg as we go. And then here. The idea is to not only get the flex on this leg, but stretch forward, hold it, and then come up. And down again, hold it, and then come up. Try to do both legs as we go through. When you drop it down, drop all the weight, the heel comes up, and drop it into the leg. Flexibility in the body is not just only flexibility in the legs, but it's in the back also. So when you're doing this stretch, also flex your back towards straighten your back out and flex towards the toes. And then up. You should feel this in the thigh, the ankle here, and also in the hamstring. So you're getting 3 stretches in one. Down, and up. Okay? This is a basic hurdler stretch you've probably done before. The leg should be all the way out straight, cocked all the way back. You're going to bring your chest down to your leg as we go through. Now I see some people go to the head to the knee, but you're not getting the actual stretch. Martial arts teaches you the basic idea and the concept of stretching as we go is not to impress anybody that you're that flexible. It is to get the motion that you need down. So when we're going down, you're going to stretch, and don't impress yourself by touching your head to your knee. Rather, put the chest down the leg, and you get a much better stretch this way. And hold. Coming through on the stretching, it's not a matter of how many times you go down, it's how long you hold it, because that's when the muscles get its most flex. Try to keep your breathing going too while you're down. Pulling the toes back, it adds a little more stretch in the calf here. And switching the legs. Like I said, back flexibility is very important also. So you want to keep that back straight and you want to lean forward into that leg. And back, and down, and back. All these basic stretches that you probably already know or that you've already done before are very important. And then we're going to show you a little bit more advanced stretching too for the back and the wrists and so forth. A lot of people think that, again, just the legs need to be flexible. Not only they need to be flexible, but they need to be strong also. Flexibility and strength go hand in hand. So not only being flexible, but strength in the legs are important. The stretching, we're going to just basically stretch forward, get both hamstrings. And I can't stress more the stretching out the back You know, I think, again, a lot of people think that all kicking is just leg flexibility, but to keep your back straight and so forth, it takes a lot of back flexibility. So the stretches that I'm showing you don't only deal with the legs and the hamstrings, but deal with the back. You're going to reach towards the toes. Again, hold, make sure you're breathing. And exhaling out. And back. You should not only feel this in the back of the hamstrings, but you're going to feel it all the way across the back. Stretching outward, stretching towards the center. Common mistakes, again, I see a lot of people stretch like this. They touch the head to the ground, but they're not really getting a good stretch. So they want to keep their back straight and the head up. And holding down. It's not a matter how far you go down, it's just a matter of holding the stretch. When you go towards the left side, instead of going this way, which is a lot of people do, reach over so you can get the back flexibility. You're stretching out the lats and the whole body here. Then you switch to the other side. Suggest that you warm up real good before you start stretching. And back. Some of the things I work for leg strength are just real basic jumping. I've always been thought about training as the more that you do of that movement, the better you're going to get at it. So if you want to gain leg strength for jumping ability, you have to jump. So putting yourself into reps or putting yourself into sets where you're just practicing the basics thing of jumping. When you do, you're going to land, both feet are down, and you're going to, just to give you some incentive, you're going to try to clap 3 times before you land. The knees are going to come up to the chest. Make sure you flex your ankles at the end. If this is your ankle, your leg's going to do this at the very end. So you get that last little push off. That's going to help you with all your jump kicks and all the aerial moves that we're going to be doing later. And then you stop with your hands down. Try not to touch the ground. You're going to watch yourself on the way down. You jump up, clap 3 times. And then hands down. Knees come up into the chest, and you go 4. And then hands down. So the idea is not just to get high, but to make sure that the knees come up. And then hands down. It helps if you clap fast, too. When you practice arm strength this time, arm is in flexibility. So to be flexible for when you're throwing back handsprings or round-offs, it's very important to stretch the wrists out. We're going to stretch them back. Flex them as far as you can back. You feel this right in the front of the forearm. And to the inside. As you do this, I want you to try to push your shoulders so you feel the weight on your hands before we start going into handstands. And the wrist back, just in case they do land that way. Here's a basic strengthening exercise. Your hands are going to come to your knees. You're going to put the weight on your hands. You're going to lean forward. Not so far forward that your head lands, but so all the weight's just on the hands. Hold that. And down. This is a good way to start strengthening wrists and start getting used to balance. Balancing, whether it's a slow side kick or a handstand or whatever, it's a matter of not too much, not too little, not too much. Constant balance in between. So do that a few times. You're going to hold your weight down. And these are exercises that we're not going to go right into backflips. These are exercises that everybody can do. Strengthen the wrists so you can get ready for the moves. Holding it. And down. A little bit more advanced movements. If you have your legs out this way, you're going to tighten your legs up. You put your hands on the ground. You can either put them flat or you can put the knuckles to the ground. And just even if you can, just for a split second, try to get the body off the ground and hold the weight with just the hands. Holding it. And then down. If you want to do a little bit more advanced, the legs can come up. And then down. Strengthening the legs and the stomach. The whole body's got to be strong here. These are exercises they do at the school where you hold the stomach up and the stomach's tight. Discipline yourself to hold it high or low and holding the position and bringing it in. So it strengthens the front of the thigh and the stomach muscles too. Going on with shoulder stretch. So as you see, martial arts, when you're moving the whole body has to work on its flexibility. This is stretching the shoulder. You're going to walk far as forward as you can with the hips and stretch the shoulders back. I used to think it's just to prevent injury. It's not only to prevent injury, it's to make sure that you can have full range of motion when you do an aerial cartwheel or a back handspring, front flip. The further the arms go back, the more momentum, just like the kicking techniques. The more range you can get with your body, the better. When you're kicking, and you're doing martial arts in general, the body is an art form in itself. And the more that you can utilize its power and its strength focused at a task, whether it be a jump spinning hook kick, whether it be kicking a shield or a backflip or whatever else, the body has to have its stretch and its range, just like the mind as we go. When you're practicing martial arts, it's a matter of moving the mind and body in action. Concentration in action, whether it be a back handspring, backflip, or whatever else. Next, we'll be demonstrating with a partner how to do some back bends and back stretches. My student Shannon Wong. First, he's going to lay down on the back. This is a basic back arch. His hands are going to come by his ears, and he arches up. So the idea on this is to try to get the belt as high as you can. When you can also do this with a partner, and you help him lean forward more so he has more weight on his hands. And then down. You may start real low first, but you start as low as you can, and you start bringing it up. Up. He tries to hold it. Hold the position. And then down. So as you see, the flexibility not only with the back, but also in the front of the thighs as we go through. Up, arch, and back. One thing before you start stretching, roll back to touch your toes over your head. Stretches the back this way. You can hold it here, and roll forward again. And roll back again. Hold it. And back. And sit in, so your legs are underneath you. This is for the front of the thigh stretch, and lean all the way back. This stretches out the front of the quad here. And a lot of times for back handsprings and some of the other aerial moves, even for roundhouse kick, he's going to need that. Come up. And one more time, go back. Now let's say if you can only go back this far, just lean back. Now some of you are tight in this area. Don't go any more than you need to. Where the body's tight, that's where you hold, and then back. Some of these movements that you're going to go through, you're not going to get them just like that. That's where patience comes in. You have to train the body. The body's got to get used to the movement. Go back one more time. It stretches all the way back, so he feels it in the front of the thigh, and then back up, 2, and back. Good. Okay. Some of the quad stretches that I do for the front of the quad are the same type of motion, but it's single leg. So you'll fold your leg underneath you this way, and you'll bring it right up into the body, front of the body as much as you can. And you want to lean forward again, feel that back flexibility. Cranking that leg right into the body tight. Lean on the leg. A lot of these stretches are slow stretches. You come up and lean right into the leg so your knee is right into your chest. And then back. And with the other side, lean right into the leg. And back. These are different types of stretches than just stretching out the hamstring. The more flexible the leg is in all areas, the better you're going to be able to snap it into place. And then coming back. When we go through next, we're going to show you what's called a Kip Up. Kip Up, when you roll back, you're going to roll back until your hands touch the ground. Basically, it's like that back stretch that we did before. You stretch back, and then first exercise, maybe you could try this coming up. Bring the feet underneath you and hands up in front of you. Without using the hands, a lot of people come like this and don't get enough momentum, so they push themselves up here. Try to just roll it back. Hands are going to roll back, touch your toes, come back, and then hands out in front. That's going to work us into a different move. It rolls back like this into what we call a Kip Up or snap up. And a snap up, you have to arch the back, like Shannon showed us before that exercise with the back stretch. We're going to do the same thing this time. When we roll back, the knees are going to come right in front of the face. And then the body's got to snap out. The legs got to snap towards the ceiling, the legs come underneath you. Kip up, roll back. A lot of it's the arch. A lot of it don't get that last little arch into that motion as we go. So they end up doing this, coming this way, and then getting here. It's a commitment move. A lot of the moves that you're going to learn here are full commitment moves. If you have fear, that'll make you have hesitation, and then you stop right there. So these are commitment moves. When you roll back, you have to be committed to arching. You have to commit, everything's got to be there, right? The timing's got to be back, all the way back to the legs almost touch, and then kick forward and the commitment to arch your back. Eyes as we go through, when they come back, they stay back to the last second. Here, and then they come forward. It's called a Kip Up. Snapping it back from 1, and then 2. So some may say, well, I'm not going to be an acrobat, or I don't need to know gymnastics or whatever else. But the process of martial arts isn't necessarily just to swing a fist at somebody. It's to challenge the mind and body to do more with itself. So that's why incorporating some of these aerial techniques to your class or whatever else might be an important tool for you. All of the strengthening moves have the same idea with martial arts, whether it be strengthening the wrist, strengthening the body to hold a position. Every time I watch a gymnast or someone that's very proficient at what they do, I admire that quality in them. So admiring that quality in them is not to say, well, can they hit somebody with that? Admiring that quality is that can we gain the velocity with the body that way? Can we move the body in such a way? Next couple of things are strengthening moves that I used to do when I was young. And it starts out with strength in the hand. Everyone has done basic push-ups. With all of my tapes, I've kind of gone to the place where people want to go. Maybe where everyone knows how to do a basic push-up, but how can we enhance that a little bit more? Everyone knows how to do basic stretches, but how can we go a little bit further with it? So this basic push-up starts with 3 fingers out, and you put the weight down, and strengthen the fingers going down and up. Make sure that you go down. I mean, you could cheat yourself and not go all the way down. Touch the chest, and then come up. The strength is on the fingers here, held on the fingers. Different ideas for starting out is maybe you want to start out straight with the wrist, okay, for beginners and so forth. Strengthening and putting your weight on the wrist and concentrating so the front 2 knuckles are there. So you can turn this into something basic here, and you can work it a little bit wider, which is a little bit harder. And you can even take it a step further and work them forward, which is tough. Then the hands are out in front, and then you're dropping it down in front. Next one we go through strengthening from fingertips to 3 fingers, and you can always practice it and putting it on the thumbs as we go through. Weight down, and then up. You're practicing and you want to start going a little bit further in your exercise and training. And like I said, all of these you start out real basic. You know, the idea is when I was younger, watching, you know, Bruce Lee do thumb push-ups, going, geez, that's impossible. Watching somebody do backflips and things like that, that's impossible. So in my training, I've said to me, well, if it's possible, I'm going to be able to do it too. I'm going to stretch my outer limits and see what I can do. This is a 2-finger. And then up. All these strengthening moves as we go come from not just here, but here, what the mind's possibilities are. What's possible for you? So in this tape, we're taking you from beginner stage all the way up through the top. So you can become, you know, so some of the things that you thought you couldn't do, you really can. Next, we're going to work with a handstand. Starting off with the handstand is a balance of holding first a headstand we're going to do. So we did this motion where the hands are on the ground and you have the weight on the legs. All you're going to do is tip this over a little bit and hold it on your head. All the weight's just on your head and hands. So the common mistakes are throwing a little too far. A little too far, oh, then you go all the way over. What you want to make sure you do is find that balance point, that center point. So you're going to be here, find that center point, 1, spot your eyes on the wall and straighten the legs up. And then hold. Hold what you can and try to really straighten that back out. Then down. And then here. The idea is control. You know, if you're doing a slow side kick, if you're doing a handstand or whatever else, you want to control the body. Do what you do. Tell it what to do. No, don't let it do what it wants. See, martial arts teaches focus and concentration. So when you're holding a balance point, whether it be a handstand, a headstand, or whatever else, it's not a matter of to impress anybody or anything like that. It's a matter of concentration and action. So we started here, and this is a headstand. First, look at a focus point, maybe against the wall or something. Then you're going to strengthen your legs up and try to straighten them all the way up, pointing the toes. Hold it as you can. When you come down nice and slow. Try to control it so it doesn't fall down, and then back. So maybe you may say to yourself, well, you know, that's great for you, but I'm not going to be able to do that. When you practice this, you can practice this with a spotter. It's all a matter of just learning what your body can do. With my assistant Blake, come on out. I'll show you how to spot this. So he puts his hands down and do the first exercise with the elbows on the knees, and he holds this for a second. And he wants to be able to hold his balance from here without over-rotating and without sending it out. Then he'll send his legs up. You want to hold his back and just watch him right here. So a lot of people don't peek. You want to help make sure that he peeks here, and this will give him the idea of what he should be concentrating on, where he needs to tighten his body up. Then he brings it back down slow. and then down, and then back. When he goes into the motion as we go through, breathing, concentration, motion, and we could do a few reps of this as we go. Hold, up, holding the balance, coming all the way down with the balance, and then down. When you train on these type of exercises, thanks Blake, when you train on these type of exercises, when you're practicing and you're holding, it's like throwing a front kick or a side kick. If you're going to do a fast side kick, it goes out like that fast. But if you're going to slow, it's a lot harder to do slow because your muscles all have to contract. You have to know exactly where the body is when you go through. This way you get more of a workout. It's a little bit harder. In the long run, when I first started, I hopped around a lot. Balance was all over the place. But more and more, you concentrate, you focus your energy, you focus your concentration to make that task happen. Martial arts, whether it be a jump, spinning, hook kick, to a handstand, to a backflip or whatever else, it's concentration and action. Putting what you have here, the belief in yourself, out on the floor. So we've done handstand, or we've done a headstand, now we're going to do a handstand. This takes strength in the wrist. Okay, make sure the wrists are strong, and the arms are going to extend out. This is how you start. And a lot of people, if you fear of doing the handstand off the top, fear is a big thing with a lot of the movements we're going to be doing later in the advanced tapes and so forth. But right now, we're going to just do basic things that you shouldn't have too much fear with. You can do this against the wall or whatever else. Make sure your arms are locked out. This is how you may want to start. Just kick up and then down. Don't extend the legs out at all yet. Just start them up and then down. Maybe putting your foot to your leg, one leg extended as we go through. Later, then you start straightening the legs up. When you kick yourself up, try to hold it. So you kick up, hold it, and then down. What a lot of people don't do is give enough kick. See a lot of people trying like this. And they don't quite want to commit. Or, of course, they commit too much, and they end up all the way over. So want to find that point, that balance point. You kick it up, find the point, and then down. So you may start out with just a few seconds. You may just start up like this. And you may come down right away. You may start like this. But the idea is to try to make sure that you keep those arms straight, concentrate up, and then down. Later what we're going to do is snap down and start blending that with martial arts techniques as we go. So the handstand is going to come up, snap down, and then it's a jump, spinning, crescent kick. So later we're going to blend with martial arts techniques, putting some of these acrobatic moves with martial arts techniques. With the next move we're going to do is called a back extension roll. You want to make sure that your neck's flexible on this and the whole back is flexible. Like we talked about earlier in the tape, that back flexibility is not just in the legs, but it's in the back also. So when you're stretching like this, you want to make sure that you're getting that whole back range of flexibility all through the back. So that'll help you also with the other moves. So the back extension roll, it's a handstand that you roll back into, basically. So you're going to roll back, and your hands have to extend. There's a way to spot this, which I'll show you later, but I'll show you the move first, what we're going to work on. Momentum. Anything with a jump, crescent kick, jump, spinning, hook kick, you need momentum. If you're not committed to it, it's not going to happen as we go. So you're going to roll back, hand back, and come into the handstand. Back, and then out. Both legs have to be together. The tendency is to look over one shoulder or the other. Make sure your head's straight. Neck exercises, of course there's basic neck exercises coming here. You want to make sure that you do those before you start out. I don't spend a lot of time on those, the things that are pretty obvious that you should do. Bending the head forward and bending the head to the side. So when we go through here, common mistakes with this. There's a certain point where you have to peak. We talked about the Kip Up and we did the Kip Up earlier. It's the same basic motion. Kip Up, there's a point where you're going to peak and you're going to go forward. Same with this. Rather than going forward with this, we're going back with this. So there's a point when your knees are in your face, your knees are in the eyeballs, that you're going to kick the legs up towards the sky. Roll back towards the sky, and then back. My assistant, Brian Tao, will come out, and I will show you how to spot the backhand back extension roll. First you sit down. Now a lot of people may not have the power to pull out the handstand right away. So what he's going to do, when he rolls back, just roll back to have your knees into your eyes. He rolls back to this position. At this point, this is where he's got to kick out. So this is where the spider is going to help him out here. So not only the strength in his arms, they're going to make a lot of difference, but when he kicks out, then he's going to extend his legs towards the sky. Roll back, kick out, and hold. Holds it, and you want to give him the feel of this position instead of rolling right out of it and down. Okay, come back in the middle. So he may roll back. Okay, let's go ahead and roll back slow. One, and he may roll right over with it. Roll right over with it. Go ahead. So he didn't get his legs extended. Okay, so the idea is when he gets back, he's got to kick him towards the sky. My side's going to spot him as we go through. He goes back, kicks him up, hold it to here, give him the feeling of what it is to hold that stance. And then it comes down. It's called a back extension roll. One more time. So he rolls it back, kicks him up towards the sky, and then down. All these moves that you go through, like we talked about with the handstand, thanks Brian, the handstand snap down is snapping down into the next move. So with the back extension roll, when you're rolling back like this, the feet snap down into the next motion. So you're ready, you feel light and ready to pop off again as we go through. Front handstand, same thing. So they pop down, ready to go to the next motion, rather than landing heavy on your heels. Before you get in the air and start doing front flips and back flips, you want to start getting the timing basically just on the ground. When the knees come in, when to snap out, just like we did with the back extension roll, when to snap out and how to get out of that move. Next is going to be a basic front roll. Most of you probably already know. Your head's going to tuck in. You basically put your hands out in front of you and you roll over. People have problems with this even though it's pretty basic, and they end up like this with the hands down against the mat, pushing themselves up. The idea with all these movements are commitment and execution, follow through. So when you're going through on just the basic front roll, the shin's going to tuck in, hands are going to go on the ground, follow through. So the hands just come up. So they're going to stay in front the whole time. Don't let them touch secondary. If you're going to grab your knees, one, grab your knees, and then up. That's the idea. When I was younger, I thought, well, you know, you just throw a backflip, you just throw it. And I found out real quick that there is a technique to all of that. Backflips, back handsprings, front flips, and everything else. Just like martial arts technique, there's a technique, the way to throw it, the way to make it clean, to make it better. So same with acrobatics as we go through. And it all starts from a very basic level, which you're going to learn here. And as we go through more advanced, you're going to learn aerial moves, getting in the air. So on the front roll, you're going to go forward, hands are going to make the guide down, and then over. Next, we're going to do a dive roll, what's called a dive roll. The same thing, but the idea is you're going to come up first, and then the hands are going to come on the ground. Let me show you the front roll from a side view. So the front roll is real basic, again, coming right to the ground, and then coming up. And then coming up. You want to try to come up light, come up on the ball of your feet so your heels aren't down. Dive rolls a little bit, same thing extended a little bit more. So the body's going to come up and then under. Big thing is make sure that you tuck your head. The knees are going to bend at the end. This is going to give you the timing for the other aerial moves that we do. So when you're starting, you can start with a little hop step, skip step, or you can start in place. The legs are going to come up, and then you extend. At the very end, the body tucks underneath. It's called a dive roll. Working that into other martial arts techniques we'll show you later, even working with an air shield. Coming up, and then here. Those are called dive rolls. Shoulder rolls, basic. Shoulder roll, you come right against the shoulder, right across the back. When you first start, a lot of people have a fear of coming from this place, so they couldn't touch the knee. Start here, hold your hand underneath, touch your shoulder, hand here to protect your head. This is a good way to protect yourself if you take a fall also. Some of the guys that we did the fighting scenes with earlier really know how to protect themselves when they're taking a fall. Touch your shoulder, roll out, foot goes right over. If you're taking a hit, or if you're taking a reaction, or even just taking a basic fall, it's important to know how to come up, or important to know how to protect yourself. So you're going to come this way, no points are going to make contact and roll right over. When you do shoulder rolls, the legs are going to come over and come right into the same stance. So in other words, this one's going to go down, this one comes over, and right foot's going to come into the stance. You can end up just even from your knee, practicing that over. Shoulder roll, one, dive roll back. shoulder roll, and coming up and dive. Try to stay clean to technique as we go through. Try to stay real clean to technique as far as grabbing the knees, keeping the tuck. Martial arts is the idea of challenging your body to do something more. Like a gymnast or acrobatic techniques, you watch somebody do that and you go, wow, there's no way I can do that. Basic things like little cartwheels and things like that, people think it's impossible for them. But it's not. It's just a matter of learning how to do the technique with the body. You know, for your size, for what you have and your ability, you can do cartwheels, you can do aerial cartwheels. I've had a lot of people in my classes do a lot of things that they never thought they could. Basically, a cartwheel is idea of, you can think of it as hand, hand, foot, foot. You need to have the arms strengthened. The arms need to be extended as we go through. The foot's going to come up, and you're going to go hand, hand, foot, foot. The big idea about the cartwheel that a lot of people don't get is that they don't get enough momentum off the top. So they usually end up looking at something like this. So they have to shorten it up, and they can't extend their legs. So if you can get the first hand down, think about getting the first hand down. That's it. Leg up, gives you a little bit of momentum, and get the first hand down, then the second hand. A lot of people I've seen do cartwheels, but they again look like this, kind of cramped up like that as we go. So we want to make sure that everything extends. Everything has its full range of motion, like we talked about before in the stretching. So the cartwheel is going to come up, extend, and then go out. When you start punching off, we talked about that at the beginning of the tape, when you start flexing the back of your calves and the Achilles, the ankles as we go through. So when we kick this off, kick at the end as we go. That'll help you snap around a little bit faster. You have to remember that the hands are on the ground, and for a split second, you have to get your feet back on the ground. So if you can snap the hips and get there a little faster, it's going to be a lot better in the long run. So coming up, snap them down. Snapping them down and then going through. So you can blend that with a reverse punch or any basic technique as you want. Snap it down, side kick, rear leg side kick. Try to stay clean to your martial arts technique and stay clean to your gymnastic or acrobatic techniques is an important focus point. Rather than just throwing them, you want to stay sharp with them. And everyone can throw a side kick. To be sharp with that side kick is important. To be sharp with that cartwheel is important. Next, we'll work on what's called a hurdle step and a one-arm cartwheel. To get a little more momentum with your cartwheels, so you can kick them over faster, we're going to take what's called a hurdle stretch, or a hurdle step, rather. So you're going to be back a little bit further here. Your right foot's going to step in front of your left, and as it does that, your left foot's going to just skip into the move. It's real basic, but it's really important, especially when you start going and start doing the advanced things that we're going to do later, like aerial cartwheels and so forth. So the right leg's going to come in front of the left, one, and the left foot is going to come out, and then you skip on it. Real basic. Comes out, one, steps over. That's when the hands are going to go down. That's when we're going to go into that cartwheel. So when you're going into the cartwheel, you're going to take a short hurdle step. That's going to give you a little more height, a little more jump as we go through, a little more spin, and that's going to kick you over. And then all the way over as we go. The lighter you get on that, the more you can start taking one hand up. So you're this way, hurdle, taking one hand up and saving the other hand. It's important to watch your landing and make sure that you're landing not on your heels, but you're landing on the ball of your feet so you're cushioning your landing. So you're going to take the short hurdle step, hand's going to go down, and the legs are going to come over as we go. That's a one-arm cartwheel. Brian, my assistant Brian, will come out, snap a couple across. So it takes the short hurdle step, go ahead, and snaps it up. You notice that the rear leg comes over fast. That's the thing that's going to catch him at the end. And then blend it with a jump spinning hook kick. One-arm cartwheel, jump spinning hook kick. And one more time. Notice as he lands out of the cartwheel, it comes right out, pops with the kick. Go. Pops right up with the kick. The more that you can cut that time down in between, so the lighter you land on that area or on that one-arm cartwheel, the quicker you're going to be able to get into that next move. So you've basically learned a cartwheel, and you maybe can do a one-arm cartwheel right now. And what we're all talking about is momentum, getting the body to move, getting it to move fast and sharp. So this time, as we go through, this is called a diving cartwheel. Arms are going to make one rotation before they touch. Most people will touch them right off the top. So what they're going to do is make one rotation and then touch. So you're going to dive out for your spot on your cartwheel. So the hands are going to be here. They're going to come up. Now again, most of the time, a common mistake are touching it right down, and they think that they did the roll. The hand's got to roll into the motion. The hand's going to roll into the motion, then you're going to kick over. It's called a diving cartwheel. Add with that hurdler's step, you're going to cause a lot of momentum to kick it up. That's when you start getting a little lift for your aerial cartwheel. Right now, you're going to step, you're going to hurdle, arms rotate, touch, and then kick. You're really going to kick fast over. It's called a diving cartwheel. Again, notice the hands, how the hands are going to make the roll. You can practice it like this, just standing in place, rolling, touch. Okay? Now the hands are going to land on a line. So imaginary line with the left and then the right. And then the right and the left. And the way when I first started doing cartwheels, the idea was land hand, hand, foot, foot. If you can remember that. Just call yourself out on it. Hand, hand, foot, foot. And that'll keep you safe. Get that supporting leg underneath you as quick as you can. So we're diving up, out. So the cartwheel extends a little bit longer. Rather than staying in place, we're going to extend the long length, dive, and then out. That's the dive roll cartwheel. Next, we're going to come back with combinations, showing you how to throw the dive roll, combination with the cartwheel, combinations with the back extension roll into martial arts techniques. Now we'll show you how to blend some of those techniques with a dive roll into a jump spinning back kick. So remember on the dive roll that when we go through, we're going to go up, we're going to peek our head underneath, and as soon as we come out, we want to stay light on the ball of the feet so we can come right into the jump back kick. From here, you're going to come up, two, and then back kick. As you come out of the roll, try to go right up with the back kick as we go. You're going to come up, roll, and then jump. On the jump spinning back kick, when we land, we're going to land here. You're going to take one pec step down, call it. You're going to set down just so your knees can get the bend into it. And then your right leg, then your right leg's going to kick through. The extension on that back kick, we need to make the distance here, and then we extend the leg out. A lot of people on a jump spinning back kick get jammed up, too close. If you're jammed up, you're not going to get that leg off. You're going to be this close. The dive roll, in the process of getting the dive roll done beforehand, it's bridging the gap between you and your opponent. One more time. We're going forward, up, and then back kick. And then back kick. We cannot put that with a jump crescent kick. We can also do that with a jump spinning crescent kick. And the idea for the training is to try to get out of the roll and right up into the kick as quick as you can. This is with a jump spinning crescent kick. Now we're going to show you how to blend a back extension roll that we did earlier with the jump spinning back kick. So on a back extension roll, your back's towards the opponent. Make sure that you peek up and extend the legs towards the top as we did. Then step down and then jump back. Try to get that blend in between fast. Up, extend, and step. And then go. Eyes over the shoulder on that back kick. One more time. Extend and step. And then back kick. So to get a little more height on your dive roll, we're going to work from a dive roll into a double jump front kick, it's called. my students to come out and demonstrate. Shannon Wong's going to do a dive roll over Brian and do a double jump front kick. Both feet are going to make contact on the double jump front kick. So both knees have to be up and then making contact on the target up at the top. Go. That's it. As you practice this drill, try to dive not only distance, you're trying to get up, over the opponent here to make contact in the next shield. And the idea is to try to get from one end to the next. Tuck the head at the end, go ahead. And then up, back. With a jump spinning crescent kick also, coming right up into a jump spin kick. That's it. And one more time. There's different ways that you can vary in practicing height with your dive roll. Next drill we're going to show you is how to get a little bit more height with your dive roll and peak it so it's coming up and over. So practicing to get more height, what you do is you start bringing the level up. If you're starting at a very basic level, you can start down low along the ground just doing dive rolls. Then you can get someone working up to their knees, and then from here. Shannon? He's diving for the spot, to hit the spot down. Okay. And a little higher this time. This time he's going to go a little higher. And again, he's finding the spot with his hands to slow his momentum down, keeping the head tucked in at the end. Go. And rolling it out, keeping himself smooth. And now you're going to do a fighting stance. Every time that he throws, he throws and he peaks it down, so he eases the speed down at the end so he doesn't crash it down. So next, my student Brian's going to demonstrate a dive roll into a cartwheel, into a jump spinning crescent kick. All of these movements, after you get your basics, just learning how to blend them and working on your concentration and action through the motions, keep it all smooth right through the motion as he shows you. Dive roll, comes right up into the cartwheel, jump, spinning crescent kick. And one more time. Looking for the fluidity in the motion, kicking right into it and kicking right out of it. Jump, spinning, crescent kick. When you set up for the dive roll, he first finds a spot, he dives out for it, go ahead. Kicks right up into the cartwheel, and then kicks up there. Boom. So blending some of these motions with martial arts techniques, I'm going to show you a handstand into a front roll. You will control the balance, control it down like we did the Kip Up before, snap up into a fighting stance. So we practice the handstand, control that to the balance point, and ease it down, roll it, snap it right back, arch up into a fighting stance. We're going to blend that with a jump spinning back kick and a cartwheel jump spinning crescent kick to finish up. With all of these movements, flexibility is important, concentration is important. Do what you can. I mean, a lot of people think that you're not going to immediately throw backflips. But doing basic rolls, doing basic strengthening exercises, you're going to have those in your repertoire of techniques. Spin. One more time. Coming with the handstand, easing down, snapping out. Back kick, snapping over. And jump crescent kick. With all these techniques, I want you to understand that martial arts teaches you that you think the things that are impossible can become possible. Whether it be holding a handstand, whether it be doing a backflip, whether it be stretching or whatever else. What you got to do is you have to have the sight here, and you got to take those steps towards that goal as we go. I'm Stuart Quan, and I hope you enjoyed the tape. The next tape, we're going to go through some more advanced techniques like front handsprings, back handsprings, and backflips. How to spot those, how to be safe with those, and how to add to your training as we go.